Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cosmic Crit. This is your GM and your casual online acquaintance, aka Patrick, and I'm happy that you are healthy, happy, and listening to this podcast right now. I took a brief break from a lot of the things here on the podcast right after CritterCon 3, but with PaizoCon Online right around the corner, it's nose to the grindstone time for me. We here at Cosmic Crit love online conventions, obviously, so we want to make this PaizoCon awesome, even from home for a lot of players. GM signups have already passed, but you can sign up to play games with me and tons of other amazing Crittermanders and GMs out there, starting this Saturday, May 16th. Go to PaizoCon Online's webpage, that's at paizo.com/PaizoCon, C-O-N, and get ready to sign up on Saturday. Make sure you have a Warhorn account, you're in the Discord if you have any questions. There are amazing benefits to playing online in general. As a founder of one of the most popular online virtual tabletop lodges for Paizo, I can tell you that it is a great way to game with people literally all over the world. We have GMs on multiple continents and run games at all times of day, and PaizoCon is going to be no different. So get ready to sign up and have a good time. That is going to do it for this week's opening announcement, though. I hope to see you all at PaizoCon, but until then, we have some intense drama and intrigue to get to on this podcast. This week's episode of Cosmic Crit is number 134, and we call it War of the Words.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Equip your PP7s. Plug in 4 controllers and stop peeking at my screen, Tyler. It's time that we stay up all night and play Golden Crit 007. Welcome to the gaming basement where we have grocery store brand Coca-Cola, some cold pepperoni pizza, and a non-stop 4-player 007 tournament. My name is Patrick, and I'm your GGM, your Golden Gun Moonraker, welcoming you back to another episode of the show. Joining me in Only Living Twice are my 5 friends and your player 2s to my right. She typed in a cheat code to fly and dual-wield pistols. It's Rebecca rolling with Zinnia.
Hello.
Across from her, he's at the Susquehanna DMV this week to renew his license to kill. It's Drew delivering Echo 7.
Slappers only, no odd job.
To my right, this hideously scarred 00 agent wishes his polygon count was in the double digits too. It's Tyler dredging up Devashin.
I'm opening up every bathroom door and checking for henchmen.
Across from him, well, he's completed all the levels on hard mode and unlocked the ancient Hylaxian temple. It's Jabert playing as stressed.
It's peaceful because I'm playing on paintball mode.
And across the digital table from myself, playing as a shorter character like Oddjob is a sin worse than murdering your friends in a video game. It's Miles mixing up with Sprouts.
Good evening.
How are you guys doing? Welcome.
Lovely.
Pretty good.
I think this is the first one that I've actually played this game.
Oh my boy.
Yeah.
This is like one of the first games I was able to convince my parents to buy me.
Which is so
only
weird in hindsight.
It's like 23 years old, I think, in the next month or so. Yeah, we're talking about for the N64 GoldenEye 007. But in general, I just love me some couch co-op games. We've actually been playing a good deal of them, both on stream and just for funsies, like your Ultimate Chicken Horse. We can't play that anymore because Tyler's too good at it.
Yeah, everybody hates me. Like, I don't know what I never hated you, Tyler.
When I was little, it used to be like sort of a, periodically, like, your memory card would get deleted or whatever. So it used to be a an ethical thing for me that I would need to complete a third level in the certain time limit so that I could get the paintball mode. So I could be like, I'm not killing them, I'm just tagging them out.
Of life. Tagging them out of life.
Where it's a giant paintball tournament.
Yep, that's the one.
I forgot all about that mode.
Live and let die, yeah.
But it's DYE.
That's hilarious.
No, the Living Daylights, that was the one where the intro was the paintball tournament.
Yeah, that man. There's so much reminded me of that game when going back and writing that intro, including there was like an Egyptian level that you can unlock for multiplayer, which was a lot of fun once we figured that out, because playing the bunker level in multiplayer over and over got very old very quickly, where you're like, come downstairs, get out of the bathroom, we know you're hiding.
That's when you just load it with trip mines and then they can't do anything. Or proximity mines, that was it.
A lot of fun. Good game. Just in general, I like those co-op games. Before we get back into our own 6-player multiplayer game, let's remind one another and the audience what happened last time on Cosmic Crit.
Should have known everything wasn't on the level before we launched. Several of the hand crates contained some gelatinous goons to consume me and the rest of the crew. And do we get any thanks for taking care of the problem? No. This Loachwurt weasel decides it's his one mission in life to be a perennial pain in my petunia keister. After shoving him off, I finally managed to get the first bit of shut-eye in over a day. Peace and quiet didn't last too long. Never does. Duty called again, and there's no hitting the snooze button. Our course changed. Again, Loachwurt kept insisting Zinni was at fault, but I knew better. I trust my fly girl fifth day. Echo proposed confining everyone to their quarters. It was a golden idea, one I hastily accepted because everyone meant Loachwurt. My hunch it was sabotage of another kind paid off. Turns out we had some glitch gremlin. Took some positioning because these suckers are really in there, but we managed to wipe them all out. I can only hope this already troubled voyage goes smoother, but I know better.
I am in love with how much Sprouts hates Loachwurt. Like the complete, like it's almost like a
hold on.
It's almost just like a line in the sand at this point. Like, doesn't matter how much he redeems himself.
Yeah, it's pathological at this point.
Whoa! Are you guys saying you don't like Loachwurt as a character? You guys know that I wrote him, right? I created the character.
I'm saying that I've been stuck inside my house for a number of weeks with people that I love, and it's been intense. We've been with Loachwurt for 2 days, and I want to kill him.
I think Devaj was the only person who doesn't give a dime about Loachwurt. He's got other problems. So
yeah, I think Loachwurt's a great character because he's a consistent, like, narrative, like cattle prod to instigate stuff happening.
Yeah.
But
obviously,
Sprouts in particular, Sprouts hates him.
Obviously, there's like so many influences on where this character came from. It was handed to me in writing that first AP to make up, because you meet him in the first book. Obviously, someone that is like almost immediately unlikable for a number of reasons. And in this kind of like, world and this kind of fiction, I was going for a number of characters kind of being referenced. But now that I think about it, it's very, very much like all the folks in the Alien series that are you just like besides the aliens, like a Paul Reiser.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, he reminds me of Burke.
Yeah, but the thing about Burke, Zinnia, is that you know Burke has ulterior motives. We don't yet know that Loachwurt has ulterior motives.
Yeah, well, I mean, for Sprouts, the fact that, I mean, like, again, his mindset is his crew, his partners, that's his team. So he's going to give them the benefit of the doubt, even if he doesn't fully know anybody. And with people he's been in life or death situations with, like Zinni and like Echo 7, he's going to trust them more than any unknown factor that pops up.
Yeah,
and he already doesn't like Xantos because of the stuff that happened on the surface, and the fact that he consistently is questioning him and prodding him, and Sprouts being sort of the no nonsense character. He's like, just get this person away from me.
And what's special about our playthrough is like in other party compositions, people might have a good science officer, so they might not need Loachwurt to run the ship or anything, but we need him. Like he actually fills a gap, and so it's even extra annoying because it's like, crap, you have skills that we desperately need to be used,
right?
But I also hate that we hate having to admit it. It's terrible to be like, "Hi, Loachwurt."
I also needed an excuse to be able to use the phrase "my flag roll fifth day."
Yeah, no, I think we use that term "my girl fifth day" at some other point with Sprout's background, and obviously very enjoyable whenever you say that. My Girl Friday, of course, is a classic gumshoe kind of term.
Yes,
and there are not Fridays in Starfinders. There's
fifth days. Oh no! The one you liked was 6 ways to seventh day. Yeah,
there's a couple of
that's a good
turns of the screw. Yeah. In this universe, Garfield Amander hates first days. Right. So when we last left off, you guys had indeed bested the glitch gremlins that seem to be the cause of most of the problems on the ship. Took care of them in last week's episode. And what else? You've closed off the lower deck, like the command and engineering deck, to all non-SDF passengers. And that's where we find ourselves in this week's action. Before we go further after last week's multiple fights, I know some of you have rested up between them, but does anybody need to take a rest now, 10-minute break or otherwise? Or if I recall,
happened right. Oh, actually, you know what? I will take a 10-minute rest.
If I recall, the glitch gremlin fight went very one-sided your way. There's a lot of crits on your guys' side.
Yeah, but I got hit by either a gelatinous goon or a gremlin at some point because I'm missing like 13 or 11 hit points.
I took a hit or two as well.
I'll take one of those 10-minute rests if we got them.
Yeah, and you guys can indeed take stock. Do you want Raz on the engineering deck while you guys are taking stock of what the gremlins have damaged here, or kick him back down?
We need his expertise.
Yeah, we need that half point.
What does Loachwurt have in engineering? I don't really want to get him involved in this, but if his score is high enough, we probably could use him.
Xenia can help out. Xenia's be just fine. We don't need Loachwurt.
Well, let me make clear. I think Xenia had talked to Loachwurt before, and I peeled back the curtain a bit about his skill set. Obviously very high in computers and life sciences, and maybe even a little bit of physical science. Has no ranks in engineering, no bonus. So
then Sprouts is happy just to watch the monitor of him just pacing back and forth in his room and just chuckle to himself.
I mean, he might be like slightly better than any of you if you don't have like a int boost of some sort, but he's not like taking initiative when it came to the suggestion of the drift drive. You know, he was pretty hands off. He's like, I would not know how to do it, but blah blah blah.
I think Devasha would head back to our quarantined our passengers to reassure them that everything's going to be okay going forward.
So going back up to like the observation deck and talking to folk.
Yeah, just making sure that, and also telling if Raz isn't already down here, telling Raz to go down there.
So no, at the end of the last episode, Raz came to the engineering deck, so he can help out with Xenia. But why don't you make me a diplomacy check for some of the folks that are assembled on the observation deck, some of the evacuees there. They might have some questions for you and things to kind of keep you in place down there for a little while.
Let me see. I want to see if I can use my what level are we?
3.
Level 3?
3?
I want to see if I can use sidereal influence here.
Oh man, I forget all about these Solarian abilities. Yeah. I forget you're a Solarian sometimes.
I know, me too. So I think like right before he's about to go into the observation deck, he's just gonna take a deep breath, do a quick like little meditation, and try to focus on his diplomatic skills, and That way I get a 1d6 boost to my diplomacy here, I think.
Oh, d6 you say?
Yeah. 1 minute of meditation. You can roll 1d6 and add the result as an insight bonus. Okay, yeah. So let me roll that diplomacy. Oh gosh, I'm glad okay. Well, I rolled a 7 on the dice, so that's a 14, but I get to add a d6. So this could actually be pretty important. I can roll high here. No. 16 altogether?
A 16. So yeah, I mean, I think some of the more level-headed folks will listen to you, while maybe a few others are off in the corner and don't seem to pay you much mind. But do you have anything specific you want to say, or you just want to let them know about like the happenings with the glitch gremlins? And do you have like a report on? Do you want? Some of them will ask about the dwarf who is down below in the galley, Bilgebratter of the Brunella Bilgebratters. Especially Zelenon, he'll ask on his condition.
I am afraid he is stable, which is the extent of the good news. His condition is not improving at the rate at which we had hoped. I think we will need to get him to some better medical facilities before we see a significant improvement to his well-being.
Yeah, I mean, there's no med bay here on the ship. So besides what aid you guys can give him, he's not really getting much of a bonus.
Yeah.
Back in the engineering bay, Zinnia, it does seem like the glitch gremlins had completely found a way to just kill the power core. And getting it back online, you can make an engineering check for that. But at the least, it's going to take the better part of this day, which I think is day 3. And so that's going to, account for losing basically as much time as it takes to repair it, times 2, because you'll be like off course about that amount of time. But make me an engineering check, and if anybody wants to aid, you can.
I'll aid.
I'll let you roll. Go ahead.
So will I.
It's a 3 on the dice for a 7.
Okay, right, Raz rolled the 2.
Aha, an 11.
All right,
we got one assist.
It's me and Raz working together.
Oh, and Sprouts, it was almost a 2 on the dice, but it rolled back 2.
A natural 20.
Hey.
All right, so a couple aids
give a
there.
Shout out to our fan, me.
Are you a fan of this podcast, Miles?
He doesn't even subscribe.
Big shouty outy.
All right, so do I get 2 assists with this then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to be a 19 so bad.
It's a 24.
Oh yeah, 19 would have changed this a great deal. It does take you, like I said, the majority of the day. That is a success, but we're talking several hours here lost for this day. And I imagine the rest of you that are not aiding here, or maybe everyone's like it's all hands on deck, minus of course Debasho. But once you fail out Echo 7, like you and Raz are like dismissed for a little while. You can go do something else. So you're not bringing a lot to bear here to help out with these repairs. But it does. I mean, it's going to take some time, so you can observe the bridge or do whatever else you need to. I think there was some minor damage to the ship's sensors as well, but that is right now the lowest priority section of the ship, because I mean there's nothing around you for millions of miles. I have very I have bad sense of how.
But do we know that if our sensors are broken?
Yeah, well, no,
it's
hard
glitchy
to say when you're out in space. Like it's the human brain really isn't designed for imagining the distances, right?
Yeah.
Well, at the very least, you are within no range of anything that you would be able to scan. I mean, there's not like rocks, there's no asteroids. You get like particulates out there, but it's just glitching, so it's not priority. You can continue on to fix that if you'd like, but beyond that, for the rest of this day, is there anything else you guys want to do aboard the vessel in your free time, or is there anyone you'd like to talk to?
So I have a question. With the drift drive, do we still have the drift drive, or?
It is still down in the cargo bay, if memory serves.
Okay, what would installing that take?
Another pretty major engine overhaul. It would take probably a day or so of work if you wanted to get started on that.
And we would have to repair the power core before we could do that. We can't do that instead of doing the repairs we're doing right now.
Well, you would not be able to activate the drift drive without the power core online. So
okay.
Yes, good question. But yeah,
I'm not familiar with how these spaceships work, so just making sure.
There are minimum things that will continue while the power core, like minimum life support and like area lighting. So when you went up to the observation deck to Vasho, it was like just emergency lighting on. But you guys can still breathe for another day or so with the reduced power.
Patrick,
yeah,
would it be possible to use some UPBs to craft a med patch to help with Brattlebur Bilgebratter's recovery?
Yes, okay. that is something that actually Xantos did on the first day with his own supply of UPBs. But if you guys want to continue on,
I think after hearing like Zelenan's concern and maybe some of the other people who are obviously concerned for him, it might help morale a little bit if he was able to like be conscious or have visitors or whatever, and just make everybody feel maybe more at ease. So I think he would try and use a med, use the UPBs to make a med patch and try to help him out with a treat disease.
Yeah, I forget if that is going to be ranks in life science or engineering. If it's a medicine, imagine life science. But we can double check on that. I
think it's a technological item. So
a med patch. Okay, all right. So that will be engineering, which I imagine. What level is a med patch? Do you have that up in front of you?
Level 1.
So you just need 1 rank.
Okay. So Zinnia or
anyone with 1 rank can do it.
Anyone with 1 rank. That's not Devasho. Devasho has 0 rank.
Okay, yeah. So,
Zinnia certainly can. Does anybody else have a rank in engineering?
I do.
Yeah.
And since I'm
let Echo do it.
Since I'm
make
not working on the power core anymore.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Echo can help.
Sure. So for that next day, I'm going to allow you guys to roll that fortitude save, and the med patch gives a +4 bonus. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Well, normally we have to. Do we need to roll?
Right, we have to make the check for that. And so
we have to make a medicine check untrained with a +10 circumstance bonus, but only for.
So we make a check as though our bonus was +10. And so I think Drew, go ahead and make that medicine check. Nah, he has to make just a straight +10. It's not like an actual medicine check.
He's just rolling a d20. Nice d20.
Nicely done.
So
16.
That'll be a 26. So that unless he added that's a 26.
I did it.
That'll do it. So now he gets the +4 bonus that someone
right
dude with.
Yeah. So this is going to be like you spending maybe like 30 minutes or so getting together like whatever chemicals and ingredients you can kind of salvage from the galley, maybe some other parts of the ship, putting them together and then treating some of his wounds over the course of maybe an hour or so. As he's in the galley, and at this point he is indeed he's not unconscious completely, but he is like in and out sleeping. He does have some like shouts of pain every once in a while. I believe he's a couple steps down on the radiation sickness, so that's the disease form of it, and is
he's down with the sickness.
He's got a -2 to his saves right now, and I started him off at a +4. So he's got +6. Do you want to go ahead and roll his fortitude for the following day, Drew?
Yeah, this is just a flat d20 for me.
Mm-hmm. And we'll add 6 to that, and it's pretty high. It's DC 18.
Ooh. And here was when Drew killed the NPC.
Well, he's got a couple more days.
No, Drew!
Yeah, but a natural 2 on the dice is emblematic, is reflective of, how big of a dosage it seemed like he got before you guys pulled those radioactive slimes off of him. While you're tending to him, he does seem like maybe you check in on him over that night as he's screaming out in pain. And he calls specifically for you, Echo 7. And he's like, it's hurting. I can't help but feel like my bones are liquefying.
I should have pulled up all the MASH quotes. Oh, man.
Quickly Google MASH quotes. Bones are liquefying. I'm Alan Alma.
Bones are liquefying. What is this, Vietnam?
Do I do the serious one or the jokey one? I don't know.
Brattlebird does seem to look you over as he says that. I'm sorry. I understand you ain't got no bones yourself. Oh, but this hurts beyond what I can really describe.
Would you like to hold my hand?
Oh, it's really. Oh, I imagine it's pretty cold. I don't know if I'd be up for that right now.
Then I will stay here unless you desire me to leave.
No, I don't mind the company. It seems like most everyone else has written me off as another casualty of the war, except for you, boy.
Casualties do happen in war, but we try to avoid it when we can, especially in a situation like this. I'm sorry, I don't really know how to talk about this. I've seen a lot of death in the last few days. It's been tough. It's been really tough, and I'm sorry. I'm unloading on you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Apologies. That was.
Back to robot mode. I see. I understand. I ain't really know what she is, but I know I'm dying of this disease here the last couple of days. Kinda makes me wish the swarm had just finished me off back on Suskalin.
Well, if the swarm had finished you off, well, you couldn't give it right back to him. So you stay with us, all right? You and me, we're gonna make some swarm pay.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we can roll better on these fortitude saves the next few days.
Do we have a book reroll, Patrick?
I mean, this is technically book 2. I forgot to reset everyone's rolls for the last refuge, but if whoever, you can switch up who does these fortitude saves between you guys. If whoever rolls it wants to use it on this NPC, who I definitely created and is not actually in book 2, Brattlebird, Village Bratter, you are welcome to. Great. So day 4, once you got the power core back online, starts. Are you indeed wanting to work on the drift drive, Zinnia?
That's another day to install that, right?
Yeah.
What would that save us or gain us in the long run?
Yeah, we don't know, because once you get into the drift, you have to roll to see how long it takes you to go through the drift.
If you do go the way of the drift, it could actually add time to your trip. Right now, it is because of the amount of time you've lost to those glitch gremlins. You're still 2 days out. It was supposed to be just a 3-day trip, but they've added some time here to the rest of this voyage.
A 3-day tour.
I would say, honestly, if we got the drift drive fixed and installed and didn't use it, that might be the only option that I would think, because we're 2 days away, assuming we're still on course. Do we know that we're still on course and that there's not something else going on?
Yeah,
Patrick, are we still on course?
I would recommend you guys, just because of all the hijinks your GM gets into, just checking that every hour, so making sure that's still on there. But honestly, it was the glitch gremlins doing opposed computers checks to try and change that. Even once you logged in that course the second time, they I think actually I'm not going to make you roll the piloting again, because it doesn't really take much time to get it back on course. It's 10 minutes per roll or something along those lines. But they did change course again before the fight in the engineering bay. So
these glitch gremlins.
I think for right now, once we get everything back online, I don't think we have the time to play with to install the drift drive. So Zinnia, once she's done here, would go back to the bridge, check out the computers, make sure everything is set correctly now.
Mm-hmm. What about the rest of you? What are you guys doing the following?
I hate to ask, Patrick, but am I supposed to roll corruption at this point?
Great question. We're going to be going forward with the fortitude saves each night. So go ahead and roll that now. If you have 3 RP though, do you still have RP? I'm not sure what you ended up with the previous day.
Yes, I do have 3 RP.
So it's up to you. You can roll it, but you can just burn those RP if you want.
For an auto succeed?
Well, if you fail the roll, you can automatically succeed as if you had not failed it, and those are burning your RP from the previous day, so it's not like you start with 0 RP in the day.
Okay, let me make the roll, and then we'll see if we have to burn the RP. If I do fail the roll, I'll burn the RP. I will just make that statement ahead of time.
Okay.
Jeez. That's a 7 on the dice for a 13.
Oh yeah, you failed.
Okay, well, we'll burn that RP.
Great.
Dang it.
Awesome. So yeah, once again, your sleep is a little restless, but you are able to, because you are fit in both mind and body from this day. I can't believe I really thought you were going to be the target of some of those radioactive slimes. I was hoping they would get you down, and I don't think you were. Were you even in the room with the glitch gremlins?
No, I threw in my sonic disc from the hallway.
Oh, right.
That's the only action I had.
Yeah, you were safe in the back.
He threw a bunch of like expired AOL CDs at him.
Yeah,
Found in drip space.
He is not a goblin. They were gremlins. Yeah. So you are of a good enough fortitude that you can stave off any cutscenes in your dreams, and we're gonna kind of assume that going forward, if there's not anything that's draining your RP, even if you fail, you can stave it off.
Sounds good.
Devasha, while we're on to you, what are you planning on doing this day?
Great question.
A lot of engineering stuff going on the ship that you're not trained to do.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of like starship responsibilities, so to speak. I think he might compose like a quick maybe audio message to his family to send when they get planet side. But I know he also wanted to talk to Zelanan.
Right. The priest.
Yeah, and see if maybe he had any. Just kind of tell him about his dreams.
Sure. When you go topside to find him, there is a very large holographic amusement chamber on the ship, almost the size of the entire top deck. It just has a couple of short hallways on either side of it. If you're looking at the ship, it is just about the width of it, and all of the evacuees are kind of spending some sharing time on it throughout the day, and they're able to program in maybe some calming scenes. That is where you find him as you open up the doors. He is inside, and you see a familiar but unfamiliar sight. It is the Temple of Hylax where you found him, but it is a much calmer, nicer scene, as it is brisk and cold on top of the mountain, but it is the middle of probably one of Suskelin's long summers. So it's very bright, very cheery, and there's multiple acolytes and things around, and you just find him kind of pretend tending a garden, like on the steps leading up to the mandibles of the front entrance.
Right.
Gardening.
Yes, I like to have my claws in the soil.
I too look forward to a time where we can take in the leisurely activities that we had before the swarm invaded.
Well, this is as important, my boy, as training for your STF maneuvers and things. You must train your mind to relax as well every once in a while.
That has been of particular difficulty for me. Lately, it seems that my mind has been eating at itself more than being at peace.
Oh, what's troubling you?
I admit I am having dreams and disturbing visions of a darker power that is eating at my will.
Oh, that I am not a therapist per se, but if it would help you, you can join me in my time here on the hack. It might be nice to just perhaps clear your mind of whatever it is troubling you. Put it aside in your mind. Lock it in a room if you can, inside your mind, and try to think of those things that are perhaps opposite of what is giving you pain and grief.
I think I will take you up on it.
He hands you a holographic trowel.
I need 6 of them.
Oh, that's not a problem.
I've got vestigial arms that can also wield trowels and other things.
You can just dig yourself.
That's why we call him Old Six Trowel.
I'm old. 6
A tunneling ability. Through the previous day, and basically anyone that's been interacting with these evacuees, why don't you guys give me a sense motive check?
And this is kind of something that is just interacting with them over a long course of time.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't apply it.
For the most part, you've been dealing with just Xantos and maybe Zelanan, but
That's a 17 on the dice, so a 16 for Echo 7.
oh no.
Has Zinnia been talking to them, or has she just been in engineering this whole time?
That's up to you. Do you think you get up to the top deck, up to observations? I don't think we've RP'd that.
No, I don't think she's likely to go up to the observation deck. I thought that, if
your hands have been
Xantos
pretty
came downstairs.
Am I still helping Zinnia because of that check, or?
No, you can roll sense motive as well.
Okay. I will.
This is like your thing, right?
Yeah, but I didn't roll that well. 18.
Do you get a bonus to that or no? No, I'm thinking of past characters with like expertise dice. That's envoys. It's envoys.
Knack would have done this real well.
Yeah, there's obviously still a lot of consternation amongst the evacuees. A lot of them still seem very much on edge. Fortunately, we've failed this check. I can't give you any more information, but Trest or Sprouts, Echo 7, anything else you guys want to do? Zinnia?
Do we need to roll the Creel checks today?
The Creel
Not Creel checks. God, the
I joked about him dying off like another unfortunate dwarf, but
yes.
How do you forget this name?
Bilgebradder.
The Bilgebradder of the
Bilgebradder checks.
Noah
That's what they call
Bilgebradders.
them.
Brattlebur.
I don't have anything specific I want to do other than to sort of make sure that Happers is good, because Happers is my favorite NPC in the game so far. Quonk, indeed.
Do you want to spend a lot of time with the Trenier?
I would spend probably some time sort of with everybody. I think maybe trying. I think I'd spend a little bit of extra time with the Trenier, just sort of just because we don't understand each other. So a little bit trying to make each other understood to one another.
While maybe you're going about some of your duties, you do find the small kind of, it's almost like an android-like penguin. This alien race.
So have you played Subnautica at all?
I haven't, and I'm desperately avoiding spoilers because it is one that I want to get to, mainly on your suggestion.
So they're doing sort of like the follow-on to that called Below Zero, in that there is a little like robotic penguin you can make, and you can like manufacture it, and you put it up on the ice, and then it'll walk along and spy on all the other penguins. This is exactly what I'm imagining this as.
Oh man, you guys got to do that with the swarm. I think there was an aliens book back in the 90s that was someone made like a robot alien to like infiltrate a swarm. Well, book 7 of this AP is going to be that.
Taking it all the way to 10.
While you are going about your duties, you do find Happers, this small penguin-like creature, just like constantly showing up very silently at your side and doing the same kind of thing that you did to it, doing the mind link. But when you feel its flapper like on your knee or your elbow, you just have like a warm sensation all over you. You feel the ship is kind of cold on the below deck, but when you come up here to the top deck and they're standing right next to you, just feel warm in their presence for whatever reason.
If I'm ever in a particularly frustrated mood, and Happers makes me feel a little warm, I'll sort of reach out and grab their flipper and look down at them and say, "Quonk,
Quonk." It's Quonk, Quonk,
Quonk.
Do you have life science as a skill?
Not even a little bit.
Oh, good, great. All right, we don't need to figure out why they have this ability.
I just love this. I just love this little penguin friend.
I made a couple of the NPCs here. Some of them, like Elliot Stelz, was an NPC created. NPC Crittermander challenge. But yeah, I had fun making up some additional characters here. So thank you.
Oh, well, I'll go talk to Elliot Stilts real quick. Hey, how's it going?
Yes, I'm rich back on Absalom.
Oh, how about that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna
prepared for
I go back and hang out with Quonks a little bit.
Right. So as you guys are like doing your duties, your whatever parts of the ship you're working on, later on in the afternoon, imagine Sprouts, are you still sticking to the command chair, the captain's chair?
Yeah, that's mostly where Sprouts is going to be hanging out, just kind of sticking to his post and trying to get a handle on kind of the general goings on from the observation or the bridge.
Sure. Yeah, about halfway through the day, there is a comm transmission coming down to you from the deck above. The observation deck is almost right on top of the bridge, and when it opens up, you can hear there seems to be a large gathering in the forward observation deck. You hear like lots of voices, and perhaps are surprised for once not to hear the voice of Xantos coming through the comms, but that of Raz Jungat.
Oh.
He says, boss, you up on the command deck?
I'm here.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, you might want to get up here. I don't know what I just walked into, but you better hurry.
All right, so Sprouts just kind of sprints downstairs?
Sprout sprints.
Stairs, yeah. Up to the observation deck. Yeah, there's an elevator that'll take you right there. Do you want to assemble the team?
Yes.
So you guys, whatever you're working on throughout the ship.
Devasha shows up with a 6 trow.
They're holographic, Tyler.
Dang it!
You look like you're about to, you're holding all 6 of them, but when you guys assemble and get to the observation deck, it seems like there was a conversation going on as you walk in on almost all of the evacuees here, kind of sitting and standing. I'll put all of them on the map here. Boop. You guys can add yourself in. Everyone except Brattlebur, who's still up in the galley resting. And as you walk in, kind of like as a squad, the evacuees kind of quiet down and all look to Xantos on the other side of the room. Why don't you guys give me a perception check?
23.
Say 22 for Echo 7.
Well, Devasha can't beat any of that, so I'm just going to sit down.
I was about to say, well, it looks like...
Ooh, 26, I say.
Oh my gosh, everyone over 20, except for Zydia, who, in bright lights, apparently, is when you roll your worst perception checks.
Yeah, I was just thinking I should have hacked the power core to be dim light everywhere just to give myself a bonus.
Better this way. I'm Zydia. I like
not for any particular reason, but have we rested to the point where we have our RP back?
Yeah. I mean, this is the next day after the Gremlins fight, so it's been probably a 24 hours. So you guys can work amongst yourselves, like when you want to rest and take 8 hours sleep. But I imagine you guys have rested up since then. Yeah, those of you guys that rolled over 20 here can see. It looks like a lot of the evacuees in the room, even some you might be very friendly with, like a Happers, are avoiding eye contact with you, kind of looking towards Xantos or looking down at their feet. As you walk in, Xantos kind of stands behind a table, put it between himself and you all, and puffs out his chest and says, Well, here they are now. No sense pretending you all were not the topic of discussion here. Come in. Well, I'd just like to say your assistance so far has been greatly appreciated. But you all, the SCF has to realize that the military phase of this operation ended once the swarm broke off pursuit a few days ago.
What are you saying, Xantos?
I mean, I'm just saying what everyone here is saying, that, we've had a number of problems since coming on board this ship, and by my count, about half of them seem to be a direct result of your own fault or errors in judgment since we boarded the Terminus Wild. And that's why I've called all the able-bodied persons aboard the ship here together for a meeting to maybe determine the best possible outcome for our mutual assured survival.
I see. And what resolutions have you arrived at yet?
Well, Private Tress, I thank you for speaking up, but I would like to talk to you, Marlowe. If you'll permit myself to speak with you tete-a-tete here,
I know I'm not.
I know I'm technically a private, but I mean, I'm just saying, you might have better luck with me than with the other ones. But that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you go ahead and talk with the lieutenant. That's fine.
I mean, you guys made him captain. Xantos seems to be in his element here, and it's kind of like does a quick pace behind the desk and says, "Well, Marlo, there are a number of things I'd like you and your squad to answer for here. So have a seat, get comfortable. We've been discussing the ship and you all for some time. Everyone
activating old Southern lawyer mode.
Indeed, everyone here seems to be on edge, and it doesn't indeed seem that Xantos might have been, since you guys have kicked him off the bridge, talking with the other evacuees, maybe for some kind of power play. And there's a couple ways that this scene, and I guess this episode, can play out. You guys can obviously kill him very easily. His hit points are very low. And this will be the shortest episode of Cosmic Crit ever. And we'll deal with the repercussions of that. Or the other way is he is asking to talk through some points here that he has to make. And these are going to be opposed skill checks. As he is indeed trying to sway people over to his side for whatever reason, whatever his end goals are. And you all, for each of these checks, can aid Captain Sprouts. It's only going to be Miles rolling these. You can aid him in making a diplomacy, a bluff, or intimidate checks for any of these.
Okay, I'm going to get out of this chair right across from Xantos and let Sprouts have a seat. In the hot seat.
Sprouts is standing. He's not going to take a seat.
So Echo 7 does want to kind of whisper to Sprouts, since Sprouts is on his shoulder right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I'm right here. So you just turn your head.
Turn your head. I didn't see that. You're on his shoulder still.
What's the dwarf's name? Not Bolivar.
You guys can see their names underneath their art, right?
On the token, yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorry,
I wanted to make sure that Roll20 was working.
I have like,
come on, Drew. It's Bingo Bongo Booge Batter.
I'm sorry, I have like 4 screens open, and I forgot that I could scroll. Sprouts, I have been talking with Brattlebur. I understand tensions are high, but I do think enough blood has been shed for now.
Yeah, you're probably right. Doesn't mean I can't scare him, though.
That would be intimidating as a skill check if that's what you want to do. So you guys can aid him on checks, and if you have points to bring up, this is going to kind of work like a impromptu trial of Midnight Squad. You guys get the gist of what I'm putting down here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, certainly. I might be an old country robot doctor, lawyer, soldier.
I would just like to say, I don't remember. In my defense, I don't remember much that's happened over the last 8 weeks.
Okay. That's. I think they could still use that against you if you killed someone.
No, I'm saying in Bert's defense, I haven't remembered much of what's happened over the last 8 weeks we've been on the ship.
And I will say, our friend Trest, who has had super scary psychic nightmares that have infected all of our brains, we are still fine and perfectly competent to handle our particular goings-on.
And I will say, as a result of me infecting all of their brains, they're not likely to kill each and every one of you unless I wish it to be so.
Do you guys need me for this conversation? Can the GM dip out and go to the bathroom while you
sorry Patrick,
terrible accents?
Go right ahead.
For 20 minutes on the show.
I was planning on doing that for another 30 minutes, but
no.
You go right ahead.
Definitely not. Let's get this started. I've explained the generalities here, but
and if at any point I want the episode to end, I can just shoot him, right?
If you're looking to make this like a half-hour episode or so, indeed. Right. So talking through this, Xantos, as you guys get comfortable and sit down, says, before we start, I do just want to point out, Marlo, you were a private investigator before moving to Susquehanna, joining the SDF.
Marlo just nods.
Right, so no real leadership experience, military or otherwise, maybe besides this stint as captain, so-called captain here.
So can I roll a check for that?
Well, I mean, do you want to lie to him right now, or?
You say it's bluff, intimidate, and what?
Well, these are going to be opposed to his checks. And now, if you want to make up a lie outside of that, you can. But he's asking you if you have leadership experience.
Okay.
Outside of I'd say you used to be a police chief. Like.
Yeah. No. I was.
Seems like a thing you could just legitimately say yes to.
Yeah, I have experience.
Well, I mean, as GM, I'm going to ask you if you do indeed.
Yes,
otherwise,
Sprouts does.
And what would that be?
Well, he's led, like, he used to be on a police force at one point in time. So he was leading detectives under him and, that sort of thing. So, I mean, he's had some sort of organized leadership before he was a private detective.
I will say, if you bring that up, Xantos will try and talk over you and says, yeah, but nothing here in the SDF command.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I'm just going to say I have experience.
Sure.
That's all I was going to say.
If you say yes, he'll go on. Your 4 squad mates here decided now would be the best time for you to take up, with our lives in the balance. He gestures towards the evacuees around him and says, decides to give you a shot at leading us all as captain of the ship. Echo 7, you got something to say?
Yes, you realize our lives are also in the balance.
Yeah, but you all have a major say now in all the decisions on board the ship. That's the point I'm trying to make, including Marlowe, who's got final say over the rest of yous.
Yeah, and last I checked, you were still breathing, much to my annoyance.
Well, maybe we should ask old Brattlebur in a day or so see how he's doing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just first say, Exhibit A, per my suggestion a few days ago, you all should have been working on repairing the drift drive as a backup for us. And I mean, what if those gremlins, or whatever they were, had destroyed our conventional thrusters or vented all of our Thastrodon's space fuel out into the void? Those repairs could have been done a great deal faster if we'd been consulted from the beginning. I believe I brought it up to Private Zinnia, actually, that we should have been installing that drift drive immediately, as soon as we got on board. At this point, Raz Jungat kind of raises his hand and says, I'd volunteer to work on the drift drive. It's a manual in the box. I've been reading it since they kicked me out of the engineering bay, but I mean, if I can take a crack at it, I'll help.
Lieutenant Xenia, aren't there consequences to attempting to install the drift drive without appropriate conditions?
Yes, we didn't have the manpower, we didn't have the skill set that we needed, and we didn't have the time, frankly. We needed to get on course.
Indeed, we would be in a much worse position, wouldn't we, Xantos, if we were to drift drive a quarter of our engines into another dimension?
I think Devasho would also pop up and it's like,
and I do not need to remind people of the abilities of the glitch gremlins. If we had installed the drift drive before defeating them, they could have accessed it and used it against us, much like they did with other ship components. We are lucky that we did not install the engine.
Yeah, and last I checked, you were trying to pin this all on Zinnia. So if we had followed your course of action, we wouldn't have been any closer.
We did not know who was changing the course of the ship and losing us time, precious time now, to get back to Ultranius. You all did very well in shooting your guns in the engineering bay, not destroying any of the other vital systems that are there and getting rid of these gremlins that none of us saw except for you. But I should say, if we had installed the drift drive, perhaps we'd be in a better state right now. Maybe they would have gone after the drift drive and left the power core alone. We don't know that, and you cannot possibly know that.
And neither can you. That argument is useless.
It is easy to say we should have installed the drift drive when you have no skill to install the drift drive. Is that not correct, Loachwurt?
3 different degrees, and that's 3 more than most of your squad.
Are any of them
in Echo 7?
Are any of them in engineering?
Not a single one. But as I said,
then I rest my case.
There are a number of members of the evacuees here who could have helped with that, but you didn't ask any of them.
Actually, I thought we did. I thought we took stock of people. And
Zinnia asked Xantos, but as I said, he did not have any skills. Do you guys want... it sounded like you're already on board with giving Raz Jungat allowing him to come into engineering. Is that something you're willing to put him in charge of, or at least help out with
Why not?
a drift drive?
Yeah, he can help out for sure. I mean,
I'm gonna put him. He's the king of engineering right now.
Is there any way that I can like provide written instructions to him, like follow these steps?
He's got the manual,
like Lego instructions, or
right, exactly,
IKEA
like IKEA.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that you writing down instructions will take as long as you doing it. So, yes and no. But if you guys are on board with him, Xantos will, put that to a point. It's like there are many evacuees here that, as I said, would like to help out. I'm going to go ahead and make a diplomacy check as he's trying to win this towards one of his points for whatever he's doing here. How do you want to oppose him here? And mainly talking about the drift drive and the decision making process of not installing it yet.
I would like to also diplomacy. And
so let me just remind you of the rules here. Only Captain Sprouts is going to be making these rolls. You guys can aid him, but you're not rolling individually. This is just
bluff, intimidate, and diplomacy.
Bluff, intimidate, diplomacy. So you can pick any of the three. Okay. There are varying things for using each of them.
Should we talk about what we have in those skills to see who can assist and aid? Are we limited on any of the aids that we can provide?
Yeah, I'm going to say just 2 people on each roll, and if you guys have something to say, you can at that point. But
I think I might try to roll bluff. Does anyone have any ranks in bluff?
I've got
are we bluffing though? We're telling the truth, are we not? I mean, is it appropriate?
Right. Like, are we trying to lie, or are we trying to?
Yeah, if you
win them over.
If you're using bluff, I would say that you are not going to prioritize the drift drive.
Okay.
And that's up to you guys if you don't want to.
I guess I'll do intimidate then.
All right. I can try to calm the crowd by sort of like standing tall and puffing up my chest and
What are you talking about? Aiding on intimidate?
I have a +6 to intimidate.
Okay.
Does anybody
sounds like
who has better or equal to that, or okay?
Better than a soldier, probably not.
So Tyler,
mine's 11.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, I'll do that, but I mean, I guess you two go ahead and puff out your chests way further, I guess.
No, I think because Devash has just been kind of sitting in like a corner table, so I think he would just maybe like let his moat float out a little bit and turn it on to where it's just dark and ominous. Just where he's looking.
Oh no, he's got the moat float.
And Trust is over here puffing up his chest, and Xenia is spreading out her wings, and we're doing nothing. Nobody
goodness.
Well, who's actually rolling for the aid?
Sound like Devash on Echo 7.
Yeah, Echo 7 will roll.
Go ahead and roll that now. Those aids. Oh
no.
Natural 1 from an Echo 7.
I auto assist, so.
Nice. Good point.
I rolled anyway, and I got a 19. So
good job. Go ahead and roll that.
It's a 17 plus 2. It's 19.
I have a 19. So you're trying to beat a opposed diplomacy roll, and I will roll this. Roll this in the public. It is a large bonus for Santos for some reason. Put this into roll 20. We got to roll very low here.
Oh shit!
Oh jeez!
Calm down, Miles.
Intimidate your best skill.
Miles, you got a little.
That is 30, 16 on the dice. And as you know, both you and Xantos are shouting almost over one another at parts of this, and you guys are. I mean, what would you say to try and intimidate him out of this position? Little Sprouts.
Trying to think as far as concerning the drift drive.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what Sprouts is going to say about the drift drive in turn that would be intimidating.
And you're mainly intimidating Xantos.
Right. The drift drive was the wrong move and you tried to make it. We're the only ones doing the right thing.
With you all trying to indeed puff out your chests or look intimidating behind a little Sprouts. It does seem to turn off some of the evacuees gathered here. Little Quonk hides behind a couch cushion. It doesn't seem to sway the crowd. Indeed, the dice are going to follow that up. Going on to the next section here, Xantos says, Exhibit B for you all. You all didn't even check the ship for monsters before shoving us aboard. That dwarf you have isolated in your care is half dead at this point, thanks to you all. And between Kalorgishi's medical background and the priest Zelenon, they could be providing him with care, perhaps better care than all of you put together. But for the last 24 hours, you've had him locked away down in the galley like some damned experiment. It's inhumane. I can hear his screams last night. I didn't get a wink of sleep because of it.
I think we specifically asked if anyone was a doctor or could add assistance when he got hurt.
I mean, you've not pulled anyone from below deck.
No, but we haven't, because I thought we asked around and no one had any medical.
I think the Dr. Loachwurt makes a good point. Mr. Zelenon, will you please to the galley to attend to the injured person?
Oh, why, yes, I would love to spend some time with old Brattlebur.
A most jovial fellow, if you would please. Thank you. Xantos, please continue your case.
My case is, perhaps he would be doing better at this point if I didn't have to rake you over the coals for your decision not to allow us into this process. I am going to make the diplomacy check after you guys determine what you would like to do to counteract this point. I will say if you're acquiescing to Zelenon going up there right now, you're going to get a +2 to this. Is there anybody that feels good about aiding in whatever way? I will say +2 to diplomacy if you want to go that route.
Yeah, I feel like we need to go the diplomacy route this time around.
Or if you are lying about him having like unfettered access, then bluff. But intimidate will not get the +2.
Miles, your diplomacy is really high, right?
Yeah, it's +8.
Could I use my plus diplomacy to do this?
Yes. Oh, you can aid. Trust me.
Would sidereal influence work here, Tyler?
No, because it's something sidereal influence. It's like the immediate thing that's happening at that time. If it's something like a long debate, or like when I was trying to calm everybody down, like that's fine. I can come in and calm someone down right away. But I don't think it's allowed for these long-standing things. Does anybody else have a good diplomacy?
This is just a single aid roll if you want to use sidereal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it if I do it. That gives me a lot of bonuses.
Okay. Do you want to aid with diplomacy, Tyler?
Sure. I probably have the best diplomacy because I'm almost better than Sprouts. So.
Okay. So go ahead and roll that aid.
Okay, and then before sidereal, that's a 25. with sidereal, 28.
Good. So aided.
Right.
Miles, you ready?
Yeah. That's 21 + 4, so 25.
25. Pretty good. Let me roll my. I've rolled a 24 on the dice. I should say, yeah, that's actually 27 with the bonus allowing Zelenon going up there. So it wasn't that close, but you guys, most everyone, including like Kalorgishi and Quonk, seem to be nodding in agreement. And Xantos looks a little stymied as he was hoping to drag people over to his side on that one, bringing up him hearing Brattlebur screaming throughout the night. He'll continue on and says, Exhibit C, my final point here. As I said, many of us have valuable skills and experience. We could be doing a lot more than just sitting on our hands up here on the observation deck as you all corral us to Ultranius. It's past time we had some say on the operation of this ship, and not just another military operation. There are some kind of half-hearted mumbles of agreement amongst the passengers, the evacuees here. Kalorgishi kind of pops in and says, I think what the Mr. Loachwurt wants most is some of us to advise the SCF, perhaps in the operations on the ship from here on out. Would you all agree to allowing him to regain his position on the bridge as a science officer?
I see. So the request is for a position in the command structure. Is that correct?
I believe that he did help you in the battle with the Fleet Furies.
There is no doubt that Loachwurt was a tremendous help during the evacuation and in the combat with Fleet Furies.
And he also tells us that he pointed out that the ship was off course 2 days ago.
That is correct.
Right. So is that something you all would be agreeable to?
You have to understand our situation. We have been in combat for days now, bringing everyone onto this ship, bringing everyone inside the presumed safety of it. Time was of the essence, and yes, mistakes were made, but you also have to understand the position we have when someone very directly attempts to gain access to certain things while there seem to be, for lack of a better term, abnormalities going on. I'm sure that all of you could see why we would be suspicious of Loachwurt, as well as all of you whom we have not had an opportunity to gain any kind of footing with.
Xantos Echo, when he says that, will jump in and kind of like piggyback on your point and says, no, I agree. I was quick to point fingers, but before you all determined there was someone else messing with the guidance system, the only other person that had touched the piloting station was Zinnia, which is why my suspicions were raised, and I brought them up with Marlowe.
For a scientific officer, you don't seem to be using the scientific method very much, do you?
Hold there, Commander Marlowe. Hold there.
As I was saying, I was just looking at the most obvious potential answer here.
Loachwurt, they won't say it, but I will. I think we owe each other an apology, and we need to get this ship back on course and get to where we're going. And we need to stop talking about it because we're all in this together. We're all going to the same place. And you and I share an employer. So I think that we need to be seeing eye to eye.
Well, on that, I'm sure we can all agree. We are literally in the same ship here, on the same boat, if you will. But yes, I would like to regain my position on board the bridge, if that is something Marlowe's agreeable to.
I'm sorry, did you just say you were employed by the same person?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really? I'm sorry, Loachwurt, are you employed by the SDF? Is that your employer?
Why, no, I'm a scientist under contract by the BBRC. And
I see. All right. Well, this will be something I'll take under consideration. I apologize for the interruption. Please continue.
Well, for what it's worth, I will vouch for Xantos, and
Xantos's behavior is beyond reproach in this matter. I believe that Xantos is doing quite a admirable job in this endeavor.
Is that a truth, Chipper?
I believe so.
Do you guys want to talk amongst yourselves as the SDF in charge right now? Does anybody feel strongly for or against allowing Xantos back on? Or, I mean, this is finally up to Sprouts Marlowe's decision. But if you guys have something to weigh in,
I mean, ultimately, the whole thing that from what it sounds like right now is that this dude is mad that we took his position away in this very small power structure, and he's having a huge fit about it.
No, it sounds to me like he's scared.
Episode, though.
It sounds to me like
forever.
It sounds to me like he's scared because there are very few people who are in charge of this. Sounds like a control freak. And and it sounds like the people who are in charge of the situation that he's in aren't competent.
So
we haven't been able to protect him from the gremlins. We haven't been able to protect him from any of the other accidents that have happened.
Let me ask. He's being unreasonable.
I agree with Rebecca. I don't think he's being unreasonable.
Looking
I think
at
he's being very
from like
reasonable.
the outside,
I think that we should allow him to give him the space to be upset.
I mean, sure, he's allowed to have the space to be upset, but the simple fact is, all he wants is his position back on the bridge. One, that seems a little weird. Two, he keeps asking us questions about why we haven't seen what other skill sets that people on this ship have, all the guests. How do we know that How do we know he's not the best option for being on the science officer on the bridge?
I would not be upset about that because I believe that that's really just sort of Patrick interacting with with the system here. I don't think that's. I don't think that he's worried about like Elliot Stilts not having a high enough engineering skill.
For
I'm gonna roll a trick attack.
Here we go.
For the mechanics of this area here, you can potentially get a bonus if you are agreeing to this point. This is still just part 3 of this section of this trial. This part of the book is called something different. I'll talk about in a bit, but it does seem kind of like a trial as you're giving competing points. In the end, though, Captain Sprouts, you are getting this feedback from your squad. Who it sounds as players or player characters, maybe you feel like you were a little hard on old Xantos Loachwurt. Do you think you would allow him back on the bridge? Would you agree to this point?
I think Sprouts would allow him on the bridge in some capacity.
Mm-hmm. Now you can use that and
on the condition that he respects the chain of command.
Okay, yeah.
Which honestly, like Sprouts only confined him to get him away from the situation so that they could figure out what was going on.
He was
I'm a little surprised how much this has escalated because like we confined everyone who wasn't SDF for like one event.
I think that's exactly their problem, though, is like they've been like put off to the side as though they don't matter and they don't have a say and they don't have any skills, but they do. And Loachwurt has already proven himself to have skills that we need, frankly, on the command deck.
His diplomacy is so high.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I feel like he's making a point for something that we haven't really even had the opportunity to go into. Mm-hmm. Like I am fine with like Sprouts will be fine with him being on the bridge as much as he doesn't like him because he's a realist and he just wants to get from point A to point B. But I personally just don't think that we haven't like I remember us asking if other people had stuff to do. We just confined people, as far as I understood it, for that one moment where we were going to check out the glitch gremlins. As far as I knew afterwards, everyone should have been on their own and fine.
No, it was the better part of the day after the you guys found out about what looked like sabotage, and you didn't know where it was coming from. So it was before you actually found out about the glitch gremlins. By my count, it was the better part of it. I
am fine with having him like as a player, and Sprouts would be fine having him on the bridge as a science officer.
Yeah, and
so long as he respects the chain of command.
If you say that to the crowd here, once again, this will give you a +2 circumstance bonus to either bluff or diplomacy.
Okay.
If you're telling the truth or not. If you're just saying that, but if you're telling the truth, that'll be bluff or diplomacy.
Can I aid in the diplomacy?
Okay. Let's make some rolls, baby.
Oh, never mind.
Oh. No, one on the diplomacy check.
I accidentally farted as I stepped out, and
you farted that roll for sure. Oh my God, Tyler.
So that's a 24 without sidereal. After sidereal, 27.
Tyler, why aren't you an envoy? You're always playing these big beat 'em up characters. What a waste.
That's not good.
Oh no, natural 2.
I mean, I'm kind of curious why we're rolling because we're agreeing to his point.
Well, this is just another point on board of whatever he's trying to get to. Make a sense motive check for me, actually, Sprouts, because he seems to be like very happy with like how much you guys are agreeing to this.
Oh, it's 28.
Yeah, he definitely has. He is hiding something in his asking to be back in his science officer position. He does not seem to be telling the truth. That is like his goal here.
Something about this stinks.
And I'm giving you that information. If anybody wants to re-roll anything.
The die have been cast.
Yeah, I mean, I
rolled a natural
I already
one.
rolled
I don't know what to tell you.
so I can't really.
I have a +1 to diplomacy. I can roll that.
I mean, he has a +14 automatically, so I mean, it's not going to matter what.
Well, I'm saying you have a book reroll if anybody wants to use it now. New book reroll. How often are you going to reroll
would you let me reroll
your aid?
An aid?
Well,
or would you let me reroll that aid as a check?
No, but if
I mean, that's the thing.
If you want to give your reroll to Miles to reroll his diplomacy,
Miles, I give you my reroll.
Oh,
Take it and use it as
God.
Pokemon master.
Here comes the natty one.
Oh, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom boom.
It's a 25.
okay. So that's very good. Plus 4 is 29. I can still roll.
Yeah, you
higher
can
than
still.
that.
Yeah, you can still.
Let me get this going. But I guarantee you, like he was winning that point if you didn't re-roll that. D20. Ooh,
Hey.
no, 8 on the dice. So as you guys agree to that, a lot of people are kind of agreeing with you. Seems like everyone's in agreement on this point. So as you guys are, everyone's like talking amongst themselves in like small groups. Xantos steps back up and says, ladies and gentlemen, everyone here. I mean, it is just clear to me. I'm sure many of the members of these evacuees here of Susclan's finest that were able to get off the planet, that the SDF and Midnight Squad is not up to the task of running this ship by themselves for the next few days. I think we've all agreed to that. I would like to put forth that Marlowe is not capable of running the ship as captain, and I would like to put forth maybe a vote that he indeed cede control of the bridge, the command controls, to me, as the rest of the SDF assembled here would follow the commands of myself as captain for the remainder of our trip. If it's all the same to you, I would like to take that vote now, a public vote for the record. How does that sound? Marlowe and I will abstain from the vote, as I suppose we would cancel one another out. We can assume that we would vote for ourselves. Does that sound agreeable, Councilwoman Gishy? Everyone looks a little shell-shocked, but he is indeed calling for vote of no confidence in your captain. Are you guys okay doing this vote in public?
As opposed to private?
It is the only way to do so, to preserve.
Now, do we get any commentary on this particular fact?
We've been talking this entire time, Private Echo 7. I think the time now is to vote. So I'm just going to...
It bothers me on a certain level why you are so desperate for control, Mr. Loachwurt.
As I said, I've made my points, and we've all heard them. We've heard what you all had to say already as well, so I don't...
You've made a lot of points with not a lot of backing up your own set of skills, and this is the thing that keeps coming up with everything that we do. Now, I understand that we, as the SDF representation, have not done our best to get to know all of y'all.
You've not done your best.
On the crew.
Is that right?
However, the one member of not our crew that we have gotten to know very well is Mr. Loachwurt, who has nothing but complaints and thinking he can do better with no skills to back that up. Now,
I'm subtracting 2 from your guys' diplomacy score, so we're going from 29 to 27 right now because of Echo 7's talking. We've already made the rolls here, Drew, but I still only have a 22, so you guys have 1.3. I've divided Sprouts Marlowe on the left side of the observation deck and put Xantos on the right side. Go ahead and move your guys to whoever side you would like to perhaps be captain for the rest of the trip.
Oh, Sprouts is on top of Devasho. I got so confused.
Oh, I was.
I was trying to find myself too.
Sprout.
It's outside the ship. There we go. Make it a little easier.
I take it the time for any more skill checks is over, Patrick. There's no like the last.
Yes.
No. Just making sure.
Have we not done enough this episode? Has
Never,
been
Patrick. I
nothing but skill.
never get a
checks.
chance for more diplomacy checks.
Bing, bong, boom.
Xenia has a -1 to charisma, by the way, so she's been very unhelpful here.
Where is... Oh, Zelnon's in the... the hack. Zelenon, of course, comes over to your side. And I think you... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like 8 to 5 as far as votes come in amongst you all. And Xantos looks very stymied once, everyone settles on one side of the observation deck or the other. And... he's just like stammering amongst the people that were on his side. I mean, this is insane. How can you continue to put your faith in these people ever since Fort Gallant, they've been bribed and
I step forward. I step forward and put a hand forward to Loachwurt and say, Loachwurt, we will share power together. We will share this responsibility. We need your skills. Please work with us.
Kalora Gishi will also kind of put a hand on his shoulder at the same time and just kind of push him into like the couch behind him. And she says, you've had your way, Xantos, and we've heard you out fair and square. But what Xantos is saying is still true, whether or not he is in the science officer position. The rest of us did not feel comfortable with you all at the helm without some form of oversight. Trest has been trying to answer our questions, as well as Devasho here on the observation deck over the last few days, but we would all still feel more comfortable with a civilian on the bridge to help you all out. And if that sounds agreeable to you, Captain Sprouts, well, I would like to make a nomination.
Captain Sprouts, what do you say?
I'm all ears.
I would like to nominate Zelenon. He has been a very calming figure here, helped to heal our wounds, and suggested we take some time in the holographic amusement chamber to take our mind off of things.
Captain Sprouts, if I may, Zelenon is a most agreeable person and most likely to give you good information as we go forward.
Well, despite the character pain that Loachwurt was trying to put upon me, I got no problem with civilians being on the bridge. I got no problem with taking help. And in fact, if anyone has any skills that we could use, now that we have actual downtime to take stock of them, I would be more than happy to have anyone's help.
Xantos is a little flabbergasted, just mouth agog and says, what? You'd trust a priest of the Hugbug over a trained scientist such as myself? Zelenon has been on their side from the very beginning. They pulled him out of a temple to the north there. You all don't know what's good for you.
We pulled you out
get
of
the wax out of your ears. That includes you idiot.
If you need my scientific guidance, I will be in my room. Otherwise, don't come crying to me for help unless it's in a dire moment. He kind of storms out of the observation deck towards one of the private rooms, and you can feel like everyone's in ease come amongst.
So this big baby didn't even want his position on the science officer. He just wanted to be captain.
No. He wanted to take you out because obviously there's been some antagonism between you two this entire trip. But this section of the AP is indeed called the Mutiny.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that a punishable offense by death?
It's
like
a punish.
1890.
I mean, it's punishable by death if it's like an actual mutiny, but they weren't technically crew; they were passengers.
Yeah, I feel like things that were punishable
Just let
by
me pop him
death,
out the airlock. Just let me watch his head burst.
20 years ago were a little different.
We're in space.
I avoided using the term mutiny because I felt like it would
come up.
Nope, that's what this part of the, was called. But
with wrangle, whatever word I'm trying to say. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. What word are you trying to say?
Well, so Sprouts looks at everyone and is like, well, looks like Loachwurt just showed his actual character. But if anyone wants to help, we'll be happy to have you.
I think Devasho would stand up and say, I think I will go in a bit here and talk to Loachwurt. As much as I also do not like to admit it, I would like his mind on the computers rather than wallowing in defeat. I will go see to him, and he'll leave.
Echo 7 will go over to Zelenon and say, Master Zelenon, would you accompany me to Brattlebur for the potential to help him?
And Kalora Gishi, I think, was the other trained medical officer or medical professional.
Yeah, they can help, and if you want to continue crafting those patches, you guys can. I will say the majority of the rest of the trip is going to be very quiet, in so much as over the next couple of days we are going to fast travel through them, fast forward in the form of montage mode, as the civilians are indeed helping out in all aspects of the ship whenever you need it. If you are just looking for someone to like help hand you tools in the engineering bay, we see Xenia pop out of the sensor array computer system, and Raz Jungat's there with a sitcom smile on his face, just like shaking his head as he hands you the wrong tool like the 5th time in a row. And yeah, on the holographic amusement chamber, maybe we see Devasho gardening along with Zelanan. We see a quick scene of Devasho trying to chat with our good friend, our best friend, I should say, Xantos Loachwurt, and maybe you're able to like crack a smile out of him every once in a while, but he'll come up to the bridge over the next couple of days and do some computation stuff at the science officer, head down, and towards the end of it, kind of looks over at you, Miles, towards your character, and says, "Captain," and heads on out. We see
Echo sit on the whoopee cushion that was placed for him.
He's only standing desk now. He's only in there for a short time. Echo 7, we got you next to Brattlebur, Bilgebratter of the Brunnoa Bilgebraters. Maybe helping out with Zelanan, who he's not able to, heal anything on the dwarf, but is able to cut the pain out. He's not taking hit point damage here, but will help to ease his mind as this is happening.
So I do have a question. So I know you said this part of the book was called The Mutiny. If Sprouts had been nicer to him, would this still have happened?
Oh yeah, there might be some other negatives here, or I think some things that you guys could have done would have given him bonuses. One of them is in the Gremlin fight. If any of your attacks had damaged another part of the ship, the glitch gremlins have an ability that shunts off your missed attacks.
I did notice that you mentioned that. I can't believe that you didn't hit any meaningful systems when you're in that fight.
Oh yeah, no. If you guys had destroyed life support or something, he would have brought that up. But I think he rolled 18s, 19s, and 20s during that fight. It was pretty grossly one-sided. But yeah, there's a number of things in this part, and the consequences if our dear friend Jabert had not given the reroll to you, Miles, is indeed the majority of the evacuees would have sided with Xantos and asked you to give up the captain's chair. And if you guys had gone the violent route, there are repercussions, obviously, for that.
Right. I figured. I was debating whether or not to use the reroll. So if Jabert is in dire circumstances, I might have to repay the favor, pay it forward.
I will allow that provisionally, but for this part, it's because he was specifically aiding you,
right,
on that check. But yeah, going from a natural 2 to a 17 or whatever you rolled is pretty useful.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I didn't realize Zelanan's diplomacy was that great. His diplomacy is very good, as well as his life science and computers. Xantos, yeah, sorry. Zelanan also has a pretty good diplomacy.
I imagine he does have a good diplomacy, but not who I thought.
Xantos is a fairly charismatic gentleman. The first time you saw him, he was inciting nearly a riot at Fort Gallant. Right. Let's. Does anybody want to roll these fortitude checks for Brattlebur?
I feel like I've been doing it. I don't want to do it because I don't want his death on my shoulders.
Let's do trust. Sure. Trust is a mystic.
Yes, I will roll this thing. So just a straight D20.
Yep, and he's going to get a +6 to this because Xantos is going to come in and assist with the medical patches, changing them out daily as well from here on out.
Thank you, Xantos.
You're welcome.
Oh, boom, baby!
That's the roll we needed.
And I come back to everyone and say, everyone, I believe Xantos is the hero that we deserve.
What'd you roll on the dice there?
That we require. It is a natural 20 dice.
So that is obviously a successful fortitude save, which means he does not go any further down the disease track. We are going to make one more save, but at this point, I can tell you that you guys are going to get to Ultranius in time to get him to a medical facility. Yes. It was very possible that he was going to die on in the final hour before you got there, but now not possible.
We'd have a real emergency room scene where he's getting grav lifted into an emergency room, and they're just clear.
Make me one more D20 roll. Anybody that wants to roll it. But like I said, at this point,
let me do this one then. Oh, never mind.
oh, Miles.
Miles, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you, Miles.
He rolled it. Yeah. So his position like levels off for a day or so, and he's talkative. But then the following day, you go into like check on Brattlebur, and he's unconscious, and you can't like raise him. So it's definitely dire. But by that point, about 6 days into the trip, you're on the command deck, and you get a ping back on your sensor array, on your comms, as it seems like you are finally close enough to another ship or another station to get a response. And it is indeed, it seems like another ship that has escaped Suscalon and is heading in kind of the same route with conventional thrusters as you all. And you're able just to get some garbled messages off to them. But a few hours later, in the distance, all the evacuees on the observation deck see the same sight as you guys. Right below it, as there's a small blue marble that kind of appears in the sea of darkness ahead of you guys, and that is Ultranius. Fast forwarding 8 hours later, the Terminus Wild passes one of Ultranius's 3 moons, and a fascinating sight comes into view. This massive space station built in and around a craggy asteroid. Let me take us to what this looks like. Ooh. You see dozens of starships docked into the station, and maybe hundreds more placed in similar orbit around as the asteroid kind of creates a ring around the planet below. And yeah, past the station beneath you guys, you see the bright blue waters of Ultranius's oceans kind of peeking through clouds of swirling upper atmospheric conditions. And as you guys get closer, you are contacted by authorities on the space station known as Oddrock. It is in a geosynchronous orbit around this colony world's capital city of New Graca. And when you guys get on the comms, it's a young SDF officer who gives you a docking bay number and has you join up and dock at one of the eastern arms of this space station. And by the time the locking clamps get onto the Terminus Wild, and you guys can connect the airlock to the station, your nearly week-long journey is over, and all the evacuees are gathering their belongings. They let out a cheer as the computer comes over the comms and says, the airlock has been opened and you guys are free to leave. You are met outside by a host of medics. There's some SDF soldiers, a few engineers who kind of push past you like the end of a movie, evacuating a building. And those, you can call ahead and let them know about the dwarf's condition. They bring him out on a hover stretcher. And the rest of you can disembark from the ship, and you see all the evacuees looking a little stunned from the voyage, spilling out with all their items. A young sergeant, a human sergeant, Jespor, comes up to you all and greets you and gives you directions to the SDF barracks, and along with a couple other soldiers goes about deactivating your weapons and making sure batteries and things are unequipped here on the space station. Do you have any questions for this sergeant as you get on board?
What's the situation?
Well, you are one of thousands of ships that have been coming in just about every hour on the hour, and we've got a quick turnaround for the Terminus Wild. We'll take her out and use her as a shuttle to get more evacuees down to the ground in the next couple hours, but you all are cleared to take a rest up in the barracks.
Should we tell them about the drift drive?
Let's see, why not?
Yeah, you can give them a full situation report, but as soon as they plug into the ship's computer, it'll give a readout for just about every technical thing that's happened over the last few years.
I also highlight the mutiny that could have been disastrous for the Terminus Wild and advise harsh punishment for Xantos Loachwurt.
Sergeant Jespor looks at Xantos like pulling all these scientific crates out of the ship and says, yeah, that guy looks like a real jerk, but that's kind of above my pay grade. You talk to your commanding officer about that.
Oh, I will.
Now that we're up this ship, ooh, he's gonna get Zelenan comes up to you, Trest, and says, I'm going down to the planet with the rest of the evacuees. I'm told the information that I have for the SDF will have to wait. Seems like your bosses are a bit preoccupied with moving a few million people onto the planet at the moment. So I just wanted to say thank you, Midnight Squads. Thank you, Trest, and everyone else. I've been with you this entire majority of this journey, and I just want to say I see a bit of the light of Hylax in all of you.
Your words are comforting, and we appreciate them. I wish you a stealthy and expedient trip to the planet's surface to send safely.
Thank you very much. My goddess does inform me, though, that this will not be the last time that we meet.
My hope is that is true.
There's another fond farewell scene as Raz Jungat comes up to you all and says,
Oh.
Well, them's the breaks. I guess this is where I say goodbye. You're off to your SDF quarters, and I'm heading out with these evacuees.
Raz, best of luck. We believe in you.
Oh, that's nice of you to say there, Trist.
Raz, do you remember that secret handshake I taught you?
Yes, I do. But why are you saying it in front of everybody else? Keep that between us. Oh.
Xenia.
Oh, no.
Xenia pull. Oh, gosh.
Drew is miming a bunch of handshakes.
Yeah, it looks very different when you're looking at just like the upper half. So.
I was hoping that could get cut on microphone, so we'll see.
Yeah, I can hear some hands slapping.
Xenia will pull an extra, not her only wrench, but a wrench from her engineering kit and hand it over to Raz. And keep up your engineering training, Raz.
Well, I was talking to this guy over on a motor pool, and it seems like they're looking out for some more help with repairing some of these shuttles to get people down to the planet. So, I figured I'd volunteer with the SDF for some time. You showed me some mercy when I didn't really deserve it. So I just want to say thank you.
It is true. You did not deserve it.
I promise you. I mean, this is a solemn promise. Raz Jungat, take it to my grave. Promise you I'm going to keep my nose clean from here on out.
Well, Raz, I didn't think much of him when we first met, but you've proven yourself.
I believe in you totally, Raz.
Oh, boy. If you could tell that to whoever's writing the pardons after all this thing shakes out, that'd be great. I imagine they're going to stick me back in the jail once the planet gets its head under itself.
Well, I'm sure we'll see each other again. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but there'll come a day.
All right, Captain. I got one last thing to say to y'all.
What's that?
Oh, it's to be continued.
Oh!
Boy, talking to this Raz Jungat really kills my voice. Whew. I can't do raspy very well. You guys all have raspy NPCs sometimes, except for me. That's going to do it for this week's episode. More exciting to me than combat is seeing you guys try and talk your way out of a mutiny.
I know.
I just keep thinking about
all the raspy NPC voices. You made them.
Shut up! I'd go back and make Raz sound like this.
I would
Raz Jungat.
My name's Xantos Loachwurt. Hey, if Loachwurt sounded like that, I would trust him.
Oh boy, would. That's gonna do it. Do you guys have any idea where this adventure is going next? You're onto a whole nother planet.
No.
I would imagine wherever we go, trouble is going to follow.
Well, that's probably safe to say. It'd be a pretty chill podcast.
Fingers crossed the combat we get into next week is not going to be against Swarm.
Boy, oh boy. That'd be bad news if they immediately come for Ultranius. But we will see next week, of course. Until then, thank you guys for playing with me.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Listeners, thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Thank
See you later.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Cosmic Crit. This episode has been made possible through a sponsorship with Roll20, and the backing of our Crittermander fans on Patreon. Thanks again and have a great week.